news, farmers in Taraba State. Your storage problems are now over. The Taraba State government introduces new official farm sacks, the standard packaging solution for all agricultural products across our state. Through partnership between the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry with the visionary network Apex Limited, we're introducing high-quality branded sacks featuring Taraba's identity. The key benefits include uniform standard sacks statewide, increased internally generated revenue for Taraba's development, proud Taraba branding showing the origin of farm produce nationwide. Distributors in Yangtu, Nganda and all local governments, this is your call to action. Farmers Association and Amana members, prepare for better storage. Dealers across Nigeria, get ready for Taraba's premium branded sacks. Together, we build Taraba's agricultural future, one quality sack at a time. Taraba Sacks, protecting your harvest, promoting our state. Announcer Honorable Peter George, the Commissioner.
Tirkashi ga dama ta samu, ina manoma da ke fadin jihar Taraba, dama ta zo gare ku domin matsalar ajiya ta kare. Gwamnatin jihar Taraba tana gabatar da sabuwar fatan buhu wato Taraba Farm Sack. Buhu na hukuma don tattara dukkan amfanin gona a faɗin jihar Taraba ta haɗin gwiwa tsakanin ma'aikatar kasuwanci, sana'o'i da masana'antu da The Visionaries Network Apex Limited. An kera sabbin buhunan masu inganci masu ɗauke da tambarin jihar Taraba. Wasu daga ribar amfani da su waɗannan buhunan sun haɗa da tsarin amfani da buhu ɗaya daidaitacce a faɗin jihar Taraba. Karin kudaden shiga na cikin gida don ci gaban jihar Taraba. Tambarin Taraba a ko'ina yana nuna asalin amfanin gona a kasuwannin Najeriya. 'Yan kasuwa da masu rarrabawa a Yantu Ngada da dukkan kananan hukumomi wannan kira ne domin ku. Kungiyoyin manoma da mambobin amana ku shirya don mafita mafi inganci. 'Yan kasuwa daga ko'ina cikin Najeriya. Ku shirya karɓan buhuna masu inganci daga jihar Taraba. Domin neman karin bayani tuntuɓi ma'aikatar kasuwanci ta jihar Taraba. Mu gina makomar noma a Taraba da buhu guda ɗaya mai inganci da ɗaurewa. Taraba Sacks na kare amfanin gona da kuma inganta jiharmu.
Good evening, viewers. You're watching news at 9 p.m. on Psalm TV, your undisputed source for truth, clarity, and the stories that shape our world. This is the pulse of the nation. Follow us on Facebook at Psalm TV and catch us live on YouTube at Psalm TV Live. Stay informed, stay empowered. Now let's bring you tonight's top headline. Adamawa State Government commends residents' resilience, receive flood relief from Minister of Livestock Development. Taraba NLC calls off strike after Governor approves salaries of workers flagged as ghost workers. Nigeria grants Air Tanzanian permits for direct Dar es Salaam-Lagos flight. Court discharges Comfort and Manson of assault charges against Ibom Air crew. International news. Washington, D.C. mayor condemns Trump's deployment of federal agents, describing it as authoritarian push. Business news. Elon Musk accuses Apple of favoring ChatGPT in App Store ranking, threatens legal action. Entertainment news. Nigerian artist MIG Arogan releases Moon Under Me, inspired by Haitian and African ancestry, and so on. Sport news. Gara Gombe urges Nigeria football for private investments. I'm Bridget James, and now the news in full. The Adamawa State government has expressed appreciation for the resilience of residents affected by the recent severe flood in Yola South local government area. The Deputy Governor, Professor Kele Takwa Farauta received the Minister of Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, during his visit to the state, where he commiserated with both the government and victims of the disaster. The minister also presented a condolence letter and donated relief materials to support those impacted by the flooding, while the state government reaffirmed its commitment to provide continued humanitarian assistance. Some TV correspondent Ojoma Yusuf has the details.
Receiving the minister, who is the son of the soil, on behalf of the Adamawa state government, the deputy governor, Professor Farauta, thanked him for identifying with the government, the entire citizens, and those devastated by the flood. She said the disaster was mitigated through the resilience of both leaders and locals, saying the government will not rest on it all until those affected are well attended to with humanitarian interventions.
We lost 29 lives. May their souls rest in peace. And the family, we daily pray that God will give them that comfort to bear the irreparable loss. We've attended to over 4,000 households at 4 different locations with relief materials, and we are grateful to all, especially those who came in with something for us to share with them, and also who came to commiserate with us. We're still attending to more because we did not clean up the entire environment. So few households were left that were not captured, but we're still doing that to ensure that we reach out to everyone.
The deputy governor appreciated the minister for the condolence visit and the donation of the relief items for the victims.
As a state, and as a government, and as a people, I want to thank you very much for the time taken to bring these greetings. I want to let you know that together we can build a better Adamawa state, and together we can reach out to our citizens, to our brothers and sisters who have been affected.
Earlier, the Minister for Livestock Development, Idi Mukhtar Maiha, said he was in the state to register his sympathy to the government of Adamawa State and the victims of the recent flood that claimed lives and properties worth millions of naira. He commended the state government for the proactive measures taken in tackling the disaster, stressing the needs for hands to be on deck to expedite actions towards finding a lasting solution to the perennial flood bedeviling the state.
We do know the efforts this government is making to cushion the affected, and in fact beyond that, to come up with remedies to put a stop to some of these trials of flood disasters here and there. And these efforts are very, very commendable. We do believe that this will all put us together, to stand together and build that resilience that we all require to stay together and to continue to build the livelihoods, to rebuild the livelihoods of those who have been affected.
The minister thereafter presented a condolence letter to the state government and donated relief items for onward distribution to the flood victims. Ojoma Yusuf, Some TV News, Yola.
The Taraba State chapter of the Nigerian Labour Congress has called off its statewide strike following a government pledge to pay off previously flagged as ghost workers. Governor Agbo first intervened directly, approving the long-delayed salaries that sparked the industrial action. NLC Chairman Peter Judeo praised the governor's prompt response, describing it as a win for workers' welfare, and instructed all striking staff to return to their duties. The dispute arose after a payroll audit labeled hundreds of employees as ghosts, prompting the strike. The union will continue monitoring payments to ensure all legitimate workers are compensated. Early today, the governor of Taraba State, Dr. Agbo Kefers, has voiced his concern over the ongoing strike, emphasizing that his remarks are not meant to be confrontational, but reflect a shared commitment to seeing the state thrive. He expressed regret that strike actions have become a recurring challenges, describing them as a source of frustration. continuing his address and calling for unity of purpose. He urged all stakeholders to foster collaboration, cautioning that Taraba State cannot afford to remain caught in a perpetual cycle of strike threats, which impede progress and undermine the collective goals of its people.
To be very honest, I'm not in a very happy mood. So this morning I want to speak my heart before we can sit somewhere and discuss after asking questions. I want to speak to everyone in Taraba State and also addressing our union leaders. I'm addressing it today not out of confrontation, but out of deep concern and a shared desire for the progress of our state. Since the inception of my administration, I have always considered our civil servants, our teachers, our university workers, and indeed all the citizens as my first priority. From the first day I took office, we have worked hard to restore dignity in public service, and we are still doing so. We have ensured regular payment of salaries, maintained a minimum wage, provided training, facilitated promotions, and initiated welfare interventions, despite the enormous challenges before us. And yet, I've observed with pain that the threat of strike actions has become an almost constant feature in our labor relations. I must say frankly, this is disturbing, discouraging, and frustrating. Not for me alone, but for the entire people of Taraba State who depend on public service. Let me be very clear. Governance is a collective responsibility. I was elected to serve, yes, but service works best when it is a partnership. I have never claimed perfection, and I'm the first to admit that our resources are limited. But we must be reasonable in our approach to solving our challenges. We face serious crises in our education system, in the state of our roads and bridges, in our security and infrastructure that affect every citizen's daily life. Our classrooms need urgent upgrading. Our children deserve best facilities. Our communities need safer roads and bridges, and our farmers need secure environment to work. Every naira we spend on keeping the state running is a sacrifice we make together. And yet, despite these demands, we have never failed to pay salaries. We have kept faith with the minimum wage. We have opened channels for dialogue. So the question must be asked, what exactly are we striking for? And that is what I want to know today. Taraba State cannot afford to be in a perpetual cycle of strike threats. We must move from confrontation to collaboration. We must build, not break. I think and believe that our goal is the same. That should be my thinking, to have a better Taraba for ourselves and our children. And if that is so, then this should be the last threat on strike in this state from any quarter. We must work together, we must build together. I've been having sleepless nights. I hardly sleep, thinking of how to move the state forward from insecurity to security, sustaining it, give better life, do all that is necessary. Anytime I travel out to go and engage with people that will come and help us, I will hear strike, I will hear this.
In response, the organized labor representative clarified that their engagement with the government is not confrontational, emphasizing a cooperative and constructive approach. He further suggested that future discussions take place in a more private setting, explaining that certain details and information to be addressed during the section may still be sensitive or not fully prepared for public disclosure. This, he noted, would allow for a more candid exchange and ensure that any decisions or statements arising from the discussions are well considered before being shared publicly.
As organized labor, Your Excellency, as far as we are concerned, we don't have any problem with you. We've been saying this severally. Because all you've mentioned, this is what is happening in the state. You've been helping do this. There's never a day that labor have any confrontation with you. But there are issues, Your Excellency. See, at times, as organized labor, there are issues we don't want to be disclosing it in an open place like this. We felt, let's have a private with you as organized labor, then we will tell you whatever we have. But for us to disclose whatever we have here, Your Excellency, at times it gives us a concern, because you have said that this is a family issues, this is an in-house something.
In the same vein, the Emir of Muri, Abbas Tafida, expressed his opposition to the use of strike action as a means of addressing grievances. He emphasized the importance of dialogue and proposed that a formal negotiations table to establish facilitate constructing discussions, ensuring that all parties have an opportunity to voice their concern and work towards mutually beneficial solutions.
Let's sit down and look at what are the costs. Let's be open. As His Excellency has said, you are always talking of strike. Okay, let's grant you indefinite strike. We all keep quiet and leave you on strike forever. How is that going to solve any problem? This is not a solution. And the language of strike, to say the least, I want to tell you now, is completely primitive. It's like sitting with your wife and every day both of you are on strike. Are the children going to go on strike or you go on strike and stop being parents? The responsibility to the people of our state is all of us. And the obligation is that of all of us. And all of us need minimum productivity in order to get over that. So, Your Excellency, what I recommend is you are patient, they are patient. All of us come together. We set up a state negotiating committee, not just government, because they are not negotiating with government. The governor is not himself. He's not acting on himself, what I mean. The governor is acting on behalf of the all people of the state. And we must look at all sides. Labor is only a language, but the first thing is you are a citizen of Taraba State. And as citizens of Taraba State, we must all share the problems of Taraba State. We must all accept the obligations to finding solution to the problems of Taraba State. And we must all make effort in good faith, as His Excellency has said. And we must all opt for dialogue. There is no question of threat. If you threaten me, I threaten you back. Thank you.
The federal government has granted Air Tanzania Company Limited a foreign carrier operation permit to operate direct flight between Dar es Salaam and Lagos. The permit, presented in Abuja by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, aims to standardize procedures, enhance operational efficiency, and align to airlines' operation with international standards. Officials noted that the move supports regional connectivity and President Bola Tinubu's agenda for West African integration. ATCL will be required to upload passengers' data into the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority's AFITEC portal, with a memorandum of understanding set to be signed between the two countries. Tanzania's High Commissioner to Nigerian, Celestine Gavas Kekele, described the partnership as a step towards improving the movement of people, goods, and services across Africa. ATCL is preparing to launch scheduled flights after completing regulatory requirements, including security approvals and office arrangements at Murtala Muhammed International Airport in Lagos. An Ikeja Magistrate Court has discharged Comfort Emanson of charges of unruly behaviors and assault against Ibom Air crew on a flight from Uyo to Lagos. The 5 charges were withdrawn by the police, and Ibom Air also agreed to drop its complaint. The decision followed consultations by the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, who cited appeals from stakeholders, and Emanson demonstrated remorse. Emanson had previously been remanded at Kirikiri Correctional Center after being unable to meet bail conditions. Liberia is set to collaborate with Jigawa State on rice farming to boost domestic production, reduce imports, and enhance food security. Deputy Minister of Agriculture David Akwai visited Governor Umar Namadi in Duse to study Jigawa's rice production expertise. Liberia, which currently imports about 70% of its rice, aims to produce at least 70% of its consumption needs. Governor Namadi highlighted Jigawa's agricultural progress, including expansion of rice cultivation from 70,000 hectares in 2023 to over 200,000 hectares in 2024, improved irrigation and investments in farm machinery. Both parties emphasized knowledge sharing to strengthen rice value chain and regional food security. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adeboyeja Oyetola, has said the Barrow Inland Port Commission in 2019 remained undeutralized due to poor road and rail connectivity and navigability challenges along the river Niger. Speaking before the House of Representatives ad hoc committee on its rehabilitation, he pledged government efforts to revitalize the port through dredging, infrastructure development, private sector partnership, and transparent governance. NIWA Managing Director Bola Oyebanji and Transport Minister Saidu Alkali cited inadequate dredging and logistics as key constraints, with Alkali's revealing plans for a rail link. Committee Chairman Saidu Abdullahi announced a National Stakeholders Forum and an assessment visit on August 16th to accelerate full operationalization. The Kogi Police Commanders confirmed readiness to secure the Jekina Akura State constituency by election on Saturday. Commissioner of Police Mila Dantawaye told journalists in Lokoja that detailed operational plans have been shared with officers and other security agencies, including DSS, Customs, Immigration, and Civil Defense. The election follows the death of former Representative NMA Paul Danwaye, highlighted the command's recent achievements, including arrest of 582 suspects and seizure of firearms and vehicles, and urged public support through credible intelligence. He also stressed ongoing collaboration with the media to enhance accurate reporting and maintain security, describing it as a collective responsibility. The Independent National Electoral Commission has warned Nigerians against multiple voter registration ahead of the continuous voters registration exercise, cautioning that offenders risk being completely delisted. Plateau State Resident Electoral Commissioner Alhaji Muhammad Sadiq urged eligible citizens to register or collect their permanent voters' cards, noting the exercise begins online on August 18th. He emphasized that the CVR is strictly for new voters, PVC collection, transfers, or replacements, and that measures are in place to prevent non-Nigerians from participating. Traditional and proud political leaders have been called on to sensitize the public about the registration. The Federal High Court in Abuja has scheduled September 24th to 26, 2025 for the federal government to close its case in the decade-long trial of former National Security Advisor Colonel Sambo Dasuki, retired, over alleged unlawful possessions of firearms and money laundering. Justice Peter Lifu directed the prosecution to prevent any remaining witnesses and exhibits before Dasuki opens his defense. Dasuki has faced trial since 2015 on 7 amended counts. In a recent hearing, prosecution's witness Mansour Muhammad, a DSS exhibit keeper, listed items recovered from Dasuki's residence in Abuja, Kaduna, and Sokoto, including cash, electronics, bank documents, and CDs, all admitted as exhibits by the court. Additional cash recovered in Sokoto is to be presented as exhibits in future hearings. The judge warned the government to be ready to conclude its case at the next sitting. Abia State Governor Alex Otis congratulated Obinna Oreku on his appointment as Abia's representative in the Federal Character Commission, urging him to use the position to deliver selfless, people's-oriented service. In a statement by his media advisor, Oti also thanked President Bola Tinubu for the appointment and extended congratulations to other Southeast appointees, including Peter Eze, Enugu, Jerry Alagboso, Imo, Noli Nkechi Gloria, Anambra, and Barrister Umokpo Vincent Nduka, Ebonyi. The governor emphasized the commission's role in ensuring fairness and equity in public appointment and socio-economic opportunities, pledging support to help the appointees succeed. Oreku, a former Abia State Finance Commissioner and APC chieftain, has previously been a vocal critic of Otis' politics. The Cross River State House of Assembly has approved a 642 billion naira supplementary budget for 2025, representing a 26% increase over the original 538 billion naira budget of sustainable growth passed in December 2024. The increase is aimed at supporting Governor Basi Otis' infrastructural project across the state's 18 local government areas and covering new obligations, emergency spending, and recently approved strategic program. The supplementary budget introduced adjustments across sectors including administration's economy, law and justice, and social services, and would be financed through internally generated revenue, grants, and federal allocations. Assembly Finance Committee Chairman Okong Owuna and Speaker Elvat Eyembam emphasized that the budget complies with constitutional provisions and is intended to enhance citizens' welfare. Political party leaders in Kano State have signed the peace accord ahead of the upcoming by-election scheduled for Saturday, 16th August 2025. The agreement was reached at the stakeholders meeting convened by the Kano State Police Command at its Mbapai headquarters. The accord covers the Gwari Tanyawa State Constituency rerun and the Gbagi Yanoyu State Constituency by-election, committing all parties to peaceful and lawful conduct before and during the election. Police Commissioner Ibrahim Bakori warned that any breach of the accord would be met with decisive action and assured adequate security deployment to safeguard voters and participants. Uganda State House Anti-Corruption Unit, in collaboration with the Criminal Investigations Directorate, has arrested 7 suspects for allegedly defrauding former Nigerian lawmaker Mark Wheeler of $70,000 in a fake gold deal. The suspects, including 4 Congolese and 3 Ugandans, posed as gold sellers, clearing agents, company representatives, and a secretary, claiming to supply 7 kilograms of gold through 2 companies, Legacy Refinery Limited and Emerald Agency Limited. A raid on their rented premises in Muyenga, Kampala, recovered 150 kilograms of fake gold bars and imitation nuggets. The suspects are expected to face court charges in the coming days. The chairman of Munya local government area in Niger State, Aminu Najube, has attributed recent boat mishap to night travel and overloading speaking during a fact-finding mission. He urged residents of riverine communities to follow water safety measures, including wearing life jackets. Najube noted that passengers who wore life jackets survived the accidents, while those without them perished. He called for stricter enforcement and continuous sensitization, improved water transport infrastructure, and the provision of ferries as safer alternatives to canoes and wooden boats. Najube also highlighted collaboration between Munya and Shiroro local government areas and deployment of water marshal to monitor jetties, appealing for penalties against those who ignore safety rules. Bauchi State Governor Bala Muhammad on Tuesday launched the Cyber Nations program, an intensive digital literacy and cybersecurity training initiative aimed at equipping over 100,000 citizens with basic digital skills by 2027. Developed with the National Information Technology Development Agency. The program will integrate digital education into schools and workforce development while offering advanced training to 2,000 youth in fields like AI, software development, and cybersecurity. Officials highlighted the initiative as a pathway to global employment opportunities, with 500 participants set to become certified. Cybersecurity experts, stakeholders, including Galaxy, Backbone, and Protex, emphasized the importance of digital infrastructure and skill for economic growth and global competitiveness. Governor Muhammad described the program as a key step towards transforming Bauchi into digitally inclusive and innovations-driven state. Let's take a brief commercial break. We'll be back with more exciting updates on Super Media Television. Please don't go away.
Are you stuck in Jalingo late at night? Need a safe and reliable ride fast? Introducing Supercab, Jalingo's trusted ride-hailing service from anywhere in the city. We will pick you up right at your doorstep. Book a ride in seconds. Safe, fast, and affordable. Visit www.supercab.com.ng or download the Supercab app today. Supercab, your ride, your way.
Good news, farmers in Taraba State. Your storage problems are now over. The Taraba State government introduces new official farm sacks, the standard packaging solution for all agricultural products across our state. Through partnership between the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry with the visionary network Apex Limited, we're introducing high-quality branded sacks featuring Taraba's identity. The key benefits include uniform standard sacks statewide, increased internally generated revenue for Taraba's development, proud Taraba branding showing the origin of farm produce nationwide. Distributors in Yangtu, Uganda and all local governments, this is your call to action. Farmers Association and Amana members, prepare for better storage. Dealers across Nigeria, get ready for Taraba's premium branded sacks. Together, we build Taraba's agricultural future, one quality sack at a time. Taraba Sacks, protecting your harvest, promoting our state. Announcer, Honorable Peter George, the Commissioner.
Welcome back, and now let's move straight into what's next. International news. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser sharply condemned President Donald Trump's decision to deploy federal agents to the city, characterizing it as an authoritarian push against local authorities. Speaking at a live social media town hall, Bowser called on residents to actively defend the city's autonomy and home rule, framing the issue as a fight to protect Washington, D.C.'s democratic governance. She urged the communities to work towards electing a democratic House of Representatives, describing it as a necessary backstop against federal overreach. Bowser also rejected negative distinction of the city and its neighborhood, saying, "We are not 700,000 scumbags and punks. We don't have neighborhoods that should be bulldozed." She stressed the importance of asserting the city's identity and values, highlighting the need for residents to be clear about who they are and what they want for their community in the face of federal intervention. And in business news, tech billionaire Elon Musk has accused Apple of favoring ChatGPT in App Store rankings, claiming it violates antitrust rules and threatening legal action through his AI company. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman dismissed the claims, accusing Musk of manipulating his own platform, X, to benefit his companies. The disputes escalated with mutual accusations following the release of updated AI assistant, OpenAI's ChatGPT, which ranked first on the App Store, and xAI's Grok, ranking fifth. Apple has not commented, while the rivalry has intensified since Apple partnered with OpenAI in June 2024 to integrate ChatGPT into its device. Entertainment news. Nigerian artist MIG Arogan has released his new single, Moon Under Me, which draws heavily on his Haitian and African ancestral heritage. The track blends ritualistic chants with themes of voodoo, invoking spirits such as Papa Legba, Kaito, and Baron Samedi, creating a sense of prophecy and ancestral guidance. The accompanying music video reinforced these roots, featuring symbolic altars, ceremonial fires, and ocean imaginary that reflects the fusion of Haitian and African spiritual traditions. MIG's work emphasized the voices of his ancestors, offering a powerful and unapologetic expression of his cultural identity. On sport news, former Gombe United FC chairman and sports critic Ahmed Shuaibu Gara Gombe has urged the Nigerian Football Federation and other stakeholders to address deep-rooted problems in the country's football to attract private sector's investment. He noted that Nigerian clubs lack the professional management and branding seen in foreign teams like Manchester United and Arsenal, which enjoy greater support from Nigeria's Gombe Bland state government's ownership. Political interference, corruptions, hooliganism, poor officiating, and match fixing for the leagues, poor image, citing past failed attempts by prominent figures to invest in the sport. He stressed the need for reform, rebranding, and better governance, warning that Nigeria currently has no link it can be proud of. And that's where we wrap up tonight's broadcast. But before we go, a quick recap of our top stories. We brought you reports that the Adamawa state government has commended the resilience of residents affected by flooding and received relief materials from the Minister of Livestock Development. Also, we reported that the Taraba State chapter of the NLC has called off its strike after the governor approved salaries for workers earlier flagged as ghost workers. Another report we brought said Nigeria has granted Air Tanzania a permit to operate direct Dar es Salaam to Lagos flight. We also said that a court has engaged Comfort amounts on assault charges against Ibom Air crew. On the international scene, we reported that Washington, D.C.'s mayor condemned President Trump's deployment of federal agents, describing it as an authoritarian push. In business news, we brought you Elon Musk's accusation that Apple is favoring ChatGPT in app stores, ranking with threats of legal action. In entertainment, we reported on Nigerian artist M.I. Arrogant's release of Moon Under Me, a track inspired by Haitians and African ancestry. And in sports, Gara Gombe has urged the NFF to reform Nigerian football to attract private investments. Stay tuned for more gripping stories and timely updates right here on Sam TV.